Hi guys, Nigel here with you again with another review for you today, and looking at one kit, but I'm going to show you two kits, and there's a reason for it. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button, or don't hit the like button until you've seen the video. You might not like it, and please, leave your comments down below and all that good stuff. Today is the 30th of December 2021, so we're like one more day of 2021 and then it's 2022. Let's hope it's a better year for all of us, because as we all know, things have been a bit weird this year again. Anyway, looking at these two models here, I've got if you remember, I talked to you last week about a kit that was available in Germany that I've seen for like £300 on the English shelves and in English places and stuff, and suddenly it appeared for £135 plus about £15 postage on eBay from a company in Germany, and one or two of you replied to me and said, thanks Nigel, ordered it. That company is actually sold out. There are some available from Germany for like 150 odd plus the 16 or 17 pounds postage, but I've noticed that Dave Coley's Models Emporium is doing it for 199 with free shipping, so you might want to go for that option. I was very lucky, I didn't get caught. I'm not going to use that word, but I didn't get caught, so basically I'm laughing. Is this model has cost me like £150, which is according to a sort of rough retail, it's about half price, and when you think this was actually cheaper than that Lancia Delta, it does make that Lancia Delta seem quite expensive. One of my viewers, I think it was Andrew, mentioned that he thought that Lancia was very expensive when you consider you can get the the Tamiya Porsches. You've got the 9340 Jägermeister one, and you've got the 935, which is the Martini one. You can get those for around 110 to 130 pounds. It makes that Lancia very, very expensive, and you think it's not even really much of a multimedia kit when you get all the metal parts and that in the Tamiya and everything. So and they have working suspension that works. It doesn't just break after the first 2 minutes and stuff like that. And they're quite good on the detail side as well. So, I don't know. This is the kit I'm talking about. This is the Meng Ford GT40 Mk from '66. And this is indeed the 1966 Le Mans winner. So, there we go. We're going to look at this kit in more detail. But just before we do, I want to show you another one I've got, which I've had for years. And I'm just going to put this one down over here. I want to put it about 8 meters away from that one. So I'm going to just put it down over here. Right, it's about 8 meters away now. So this one here, this is the Ford GT40 Mk from Trumpeter. And this is actually the winner of the 1966 Le Mans. So yeah, very interesting. This kit, you can see on here, it says Ford GT40 Mk. If you buy this kit in its current boxing, I can't even remember the name of the manufacturer now. It's still a Trumpeter kit. It's still got the same image. It's still got the Ferrari behind it. It's still got the rumble strips here, but it says US sports car or something. I've seen this on eBay for like £88 with free delivery. It's an absolute bargain for a 12 scale GT40 for 88 quid. Now the difference is, if you look on this one, you'll see on the back of the box here, it has the licensed by Ford sign here. Okay, that's what costs the money. And in having that, it's also got it on the front of the box here. It's got down there, look, it's got Ford. Okay, in having that, it enables them to have the Ford logo on the side. And if you look at the newer kit where it says US sports car, it doesn't have the Ford logo in there. There will be no references to Ford whatsoever, so I'm not sure if there's any Ford badging anywhere. This should have a GT40 symbol for the middle of the steering wheel. I haven't looked, but it should have, and I'm not sure what else there will be referencing GT40s, but basically the newer kit won't have it. The beauty of the newer kit is this one only has this scheme, okay? It only has the black GT40 Mk from 1966, this scheme. And it's got the Dan Gurney lump in the roof. This was actually driven by Bruce McLaren, the guy that started McLaren that we all know about now. So basically, yeah, this is the the winning car from 1966, but as far as I'm concerned, so is the other one. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the other one was driven by Ken Miles. Go take a look, you'll see what I mean. One other thing I want to say, if you are interested in the GT40, or if you are interested in seeing someone almost do something like this on full scale, if you remember, I referred you to a YouTube channel a while back, a YouTube channel called Built by Dan, and that is a guy in Australia building a full-size GT40, but he openly admits in his videos he is not a mechanic, he is not an engineer. I don't think he's an engineer, maybe a building engineer or something like that, but he's not actually a car engineer. So he's building this car from a kit and doing really, really well. And it's great. So that's Built by Dan, and that is basically a guy bolting all the parts together to build himself a beautiful kit car. There is another channel which I found in doing some research on here, and it's called Ratchet, and it's basically R-A-T-C-H-E-T, as you would have in a spanner set or a socket set, Ratchet. And there's a guy called Andrew, English guy, double garage, bought a GT40 kit car as a built ongoing concern, and then started to find some issues. And it's just gone on and on and on and on. And if you want to see what someone, you know, if you love watching me do my modifications to my plastic kits, where I start cutting things about and reshaping them and stuff, you will absolutely love Andrew's channel, okay? Because he's basically bought this GT40 kit car. I'm not sure if there's anything left of what he actually bought, but if you have a look at it, it is absolute masterpiece. Go and have a look, give him a sub. It's well worth a look, and tell him I sent you, because he's going to be watching this video. So so there we go. So this is the Trumpeter version, and as I say, if you want to get one of these, absolute bargain. It's like £88. The biggest downside with this kit, it's got a few issues with it, like the tyres aren't very nice, but if you ask me, I think they're all right, because these were bias tyres. They didn't have radials. They were sort of bias tyres, so almost cross plies. So you know, they're going to have the sort of square edge on them, and these tyres in this kit have the square edge on them. So, and also they look a lot more like the Firestones, and this car actually ran with Firestones and Goodyears in this race, because the Firestones were letting them down. So the team manager, even though they had some Firestone sponsorship, they actually decided to change the tyres to Goodyear. Can you imagine that happening today? But anyway, there we go. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, what I'm selling, they're both the winner. Go have a look at some history, look about Ken Miles and stuff. It's fantastic. And also you've got, of course, the film Ford versus Ferrari, Le Mans 1966. Fantastic film, really, really good. Very, very enjoyable. Fairly accurate, few little issues, but fairly accurate. So anyway, without further ado, let's get that Meng kit up on the bench, because that's the one we're going to have a look at. If you want to see this one, let me know in the comments below. I'll do a review of it. There's already quite a few reviews and quite a few builds of it. It's got a few little issues, but you know, I mean, I bought this when it first came out. I think it's 2008. I'm sure it's 2008. Is it on here? 2009. 2009. I bought this when it first came out, so I would have got it like 2010, and it was like £90 then. So it's always been a bargain model, this one. But some people are asking silly money for these, saying that it's the original because it's got Ford GT40. Don't be fooled by it, guys, because as I say, all you're getting is the Ford Decals. I don't think there's any other difference. And as I say, if you get the newer kit, the cheaper one, you get the option to do the same scheme as is on the front of the Meng box. So the Meng kit gives you the option to do the number 1 or number 2, which was the Ken Miles or McLaren car. This one, this kit, this boxing with this writing only gives you the option to do the McLaren car, okay, the number 2. It's not a McLaren, it's a Ford. It's driven by Bruce McLaren. So anyway, there we go. So let's get to the bench and have a look at that beauty over there. As I say, I've got to keep these 8 meters apart. And don't forget to go and subscribe to Andrew's channel called Ratchet. Right then, so here we go. So this is our massive box in front of us. It's huge. And what I do like, thank you so much, Meng. Thank you. It's not glossy, so we don't get all that horrible reflection and everything. But lovely, lovely box. It came from Germany, beautifully packaged. And yeah, very, very pleased. RS002 is the kit number. 1/12 scale, mengmodel.com, Ford GT40 Mark II, 1966, and product aged for 14 and over, ready to assemble precision model kit, cement and paint not included, and this is not a toy. Okay, so don't forget, it's not a toy. You mustn't play with it. You mustn't go on the suspension and make the springs work, or go like that on the steering wheel and turn the wheels. No, it's not a toy. So just have a quick look around the box. We can see on the front we've got beautiful box art, lovely painting, really depicting the Ken Miles car beautifully. As you can see, no bumps or anything in the roof, so you know, you haven't got that option. I think you're going to have the option in the kit, but this one didn't have it. Number 2 did. So here we go. Let's look around the box. So we can see here we've got the colour callouts in that wonderful AK MIG stuff, which is great. And here you can see we've got the option to do the Mark II as per the Trumpeter kit. Sorry, yeah, the Mark II number 2 as per the Trumpeter kit. And then on the end of the box here, you can see we've got the, there we go, we've got the Ford sticker. So that's obviously cost them a few quid. They've also brought out another one now. They've brought out a dedicated kit of that car. So I don't quite know what's going on. Maybe they don't have the option. Yes, they do have the option to build that car. But there we go, more of the box art here, and you can see the kit number RS002. And then around the side of the box here, we've got the other option. And then there we've got some history, is it? Yeah, some history and some info about the kit. So let me just have a look. We've got a length of 343.7mm, height of 90mm, number 1 car, and 90.8mm number 2 car. That's because of the gurney, not the, is it gurney? I can't remember his name now, the lump on the roof. You can see on here, it's a fairly recent model, 2020, so it's going to be pretty much up to date. And on the other end of the box, again, we've got the Ford trademark and under license and everything. So there we are. So that's the big, beautiful box. I actually think that is worthy of being cut out and being put in a frame. It's a shame about all the writing, but it is beautiful. And it's nice to see that they're paying Ford for the license. So there we go. So open up the box, and the one thing we notice straight away, packaging is not the best. It is not a patch on the Trumpeters. In fact, I will show you the Trumpeter kit now. Here we go, glossy box, I'm sorry, so you've got the horrible reflection of the light. But if we look inside the box, it is a slightly smaller box, but only slightly. But you can see that in the Trumpeter kit, we've got, you know, the main body shell is individually packaged. We've got decals and everything here. Have we got, yes we have. Remember I said about the GT40 decal for the centre of the steering wheel? We've got it in there. You probably won't get that in the newer kit. But also we got down here, we've got parts in here which are partly painted, which is very strange. It's things like this. I mean, the tyres are in this lovely little sleeve opening box. And that's such a lovely little box. You know, the tyres with the foam inserts and the tyre decals and everything are in there. You know, really nice touches like this. I mean, as we all know, Trumpeter are renowned for their amazing packaging. And then here we've got chrome parts wrapped in foam so they don't get damaged. You know, all very nicely done. All the clear parts are in with the body so they don't get damaged. And we've got bags and bags of stuff. We've got photo etch and everything, and bags of bits and pieces of that, everything in there. Here's the smaller clear parts, and they're under the screws, which is not good. But basically, you can see that the Trumpeter kit packaging is far superior to the actual Meng kit. But I personally believe, having seen this, there is a build of this kit currently up on YouTube. I'm not going to mention any names, but I don't think they're doing the kit any favours, to be honest. But basically, I think it's a beautiful model. I personally think Meng are starting to go the way of Bandai. They seem to be going down this sort of snap fit, simplified route. You know, Bandai have this amazing habit of being able to, you know, something like the company like Mini Art would make a component from 700 different parts. Bandai can make it out of 3, but just use some really fantastic moulding skills. It seems that Meng are starting to go the same way. That little Jeep I've got and building, it's very simple the way it's laid out, but it's, at the end of the day, it looks like a great model. I think this one falls firmly into that category. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. Let's have a look in here. So we've got some lovely sprues. We've got chrome parts there. We've got the doors. Got our clear parts here, which in normal Meng style are beautifully protected. Got interior doors there. Here you got tyres just shoved in a bag, you know, rather than in a nice box or anything. We've got the spare, which you don't get in the Trumpeter kit, in the old one or the new one. Got our brakes and everything there. We've got some bits and pieces. Got decals here, so we've got some decal sheets. You can see we've got the number 1 and 2. We've got tyre decals there, which you don't get with the Trumpeter kit. We've got instrument decals, so all very nice indeed. The instructions manual is all individually bagged up, which is nice. So put those parts back in there. Let's get those clear parts out of the way, don't want to damage them. So I'm sure these sprues all went in a certain way so that it would all go back in the box, but I can sort that out afterwards. And then we've got our body parts there, clear parts over there, exhausts all nicely done. We've got the main floor here. We've got a bag of screws, bits and pieces. There's nothing like as many parts in here as in the Trumpeter kit, but you know, that doesn't necessarily mean it's good or bad. I think the engine detail on this is a lot nicer. Certainly the engine detail on the Trumpeter kit is lacking, but we shall see about that. We've got rubber parts here for the seats. You can see these are all flexible and bendy. I'm going to get these out and have a look in a minute, so don't worry. This is just a quick look through the box. And then we've got here, we've got red and amber and red parts there, and some more little clear parts to be going on with. So all in all, lovely kit. It doesn't say on here how many parts there actually are in there. I think the Trumpeter one was 319 parts. I'm guessing this one's going to have a slightly smaller part count because it does seem a lot simpler. But having said that, I think this is probably the better model. But it should be when the retail's like nearly 3 times as much. So let me get the camera moved around. We'll have a look at the instruction manual first, as you know I always do, and then we'll start looking at some parts. Right, so here we go. I've got the manual out of its little bag and everything. So you can see slightly glossy paper. I've moved the lights around to try and help out. Again, you can see we've got the Ford official licensed product in here, Ford over there. So it's nice that it's going to be an accurate representation of the real thing and not have certain logos hidden. So straight into the book. There we go. We've got, oh, Shelby American Cobra Collection. That's nice. We'd like to express our gratitude to the Shelby American Collection for their support in development of this kit. I'm sure you would. I wonder if they actually got to see the real thing. I did actually see the real Ken Miles car is currently worth something $90 million, I think someone said. Or maybe a collection, maybe the car alone is worth $50 million, I don't know, but crazy. So there we go. So this is a story about the Ford GT40 Mk 2 1966 and all about how it happened and why the race happened and this, that and the other. If you want to see some history, there's loads of it on YouTube. Or as I say, you can watch the film Ford versus Ferrari, which is good, very good indeed. So here we've got a normal sort of Meng instructions with showing us the tools and stuff we need here. Pin vise, cyanoacrylate glue, tweezers, hobby knife, side cutters and cement. Well, if you're going to do a nice job of this, you're going to need more than that. You're going to need some sanding sticks and stuff as well. But basically they're telling you here it's a plastic model. Look through the instructions. They've got health and safety stuff in here. Tell you how to apply the decals, how to use the paint masks, and then we're straight into the build. So we've got versions A and B. So as I say, we've got the blue one and the black one. We'll call them 1 and 2. So straight into the assembly, fire extinguisher. As you can see, very colourful, bright instructions, and they actually use the actual colours that you're going to use. So usually with Meng, they have a colour call out in the back of the book. There we go. They haven't broken their tradition. So you've got MC50, which is a Meng, an AK colour. MC50, sorry, 501, going blind here. 501 is gold, okay, and then MC403 is going to be red. So you've got MC403, which is gloss red. So you can see they're actually doing these parts in the colour that they should be, okay? And then when you come to assemble them, they become gold. So the golden parts are what you're going to assemble because it's an assembly. So that assembly there becomes that. That assembly there becomes that. You can see we've got some great detail here with some return springs and stuff on the pedals. I've got the battery going in there. metal rod for our steering column. We've got a gear on the end telling us to assemble it in a certain sequence. We've got screws here holding it all together, and they're telling you to bang the metal rod onto the gear and everything. We've got some vinyl pipe going in here, or rubber pipe, vinyl pipe lines, yeah, and they're telling you here to cut it to that length. They're showing you down there the actual size that it's going to be cut to. And you've got a couple of poly caps going in here which are going to attach the body, or attach this to the actual lower floor, I think it is. So you can see here again, as I said, you know, this kit cost me like £150 with delivery. That Lancia cost me 179, I think it was. You know, and you've got this metal steering shaft, the gear, we've got screws, poly caps, you know, and a lovely set of instructions with colour callouts and stuff. You know, that kit is starting to look very expensive in my eyes, to be honest, when you compare it to stuff like this. So over the road here, we've got the steering rack going together. We've got the track rod ends on the end here. Not quite sure what that is. That's a greebly. And then we've got the outer. This is going to be the inner steering column. So it's the actual rack and pinion part, or the rack. The pinion is the column. And then here we've got the actual moulding of to resemble a steering rack going on there. We've got our brake disc going on here. It looks like we've got grooves on the disc. I don't know why manufacturers have to do this on car kits. If you went for an MOT with grooves in your brake discs like this, you would fail. They put these great big grooves in. I don't know why. It's bloody annoying. And then we've got our calipers going onto our uprights there, lower wishbones going in, and then we've got some push rods here. That's going to be an actuator or a rod for the anti-roll bar. We've got a joint going in here for the trailing link. And then we've got the same thing going on for the other side. We're adding in some more links here. Adding in some vinyl hosing for the brake lines. Bloody hell, we've got brake pipes in here. I did notice in that bag we don't seem to have any braiding. It's all just black vinyl, so you might want to upgrade it with some braiding. So we're all screwing together here, so it's all going to be nice and strong by the look of it. Assembling our shock absorbers. We don't have that horrible system that a lot of kits use where you have to glue them together and sandwich the upper part in, so that's all nice. That's all just going to push together. You want to paint that a nice chrome silver, and then paint your actually shock absorber itself red or yellow, whatever. I'm assuming they may have been, if they're telling you red, it may have been Coney's. Check your references. Then we've got these two parts going on here. These are giving a basis for our luggage bins. Yes, the GT40 has luggage bins. We've got some vinyl hose going in there. It's showing it all different colours and all bent up to shape and everything, but in reality it's just going to be a straight piece of pipe. But it's showing you one's thick and one's thin. And then we've got the actual rear suspension being held into the floor pan there with screws, which is makes it nice and strong. It also means you don't have to clamp it and leave it everything to dry while you're going. And then we're going to add the floor in here. By the way, this is all painted blue, a beautifully blue colour. You can use Tamiya X4, which I think is too dark. I've been having a play today, and basically you've got the X4 here, which I think is too dark. This is X14, which is the sky blue, and I think if you mix these two together 1 to 1, the colour is pretty much spot on. So we'll have a look at that when we do the painting of the floor part, the monocoque, should we say. But I need to make sure I know exactly how much of it's going to be painted, because I need to make sure I mix the paint once so you don't have to mix any more. Front wishbones going in here. And then we've got the actual upper and lower floor pans coming together, parts of the monocoque, and then it's all being held together with screws. We've got some ducting going in here. I'm not exactly sure what that is. I'm not exactly sure. There's some air ducting. Oh, that's going to be the ducting where it feeds the air down in to cool the rear brakes. So that's pretty cool. And those ductings are obviously going to go onto those intakes there. And then on over the page, we've got to these links going here. These are the trailing arms. And then we've got more brake pipes going in here, which is a nice touch. And then more pipe work going in here. We're adding our upper wishbone to the front suspension and adding in the upper part of the shock absorber, or the coil over, should I say. And then we've got the coil over going together there and all snapping in together like that. Mr. Page. And then coming over here, front wheel braking system. Again, we've got discs and calipers all going together with the outer nut going in. Got the cooling pipes going in there. These probably won't go in very well at all. Attaching front suspension onto the actual chassis itself. So we'll see how that all goes. It's going to look lovely. Then we've got the front radiator assembly going in. We've got a photo etch radiator grill going on there. Radiator itself with the pipes here. You can see the pipes are all attached. So we're going dup, dup, and then that, and then up to that. So we've got a fan going on the back of there. Those fans look a little small to me, but hey ho. And then we've got the radiator going in here and all getting plumbed in with the pipe work we fitted way back. And then we've got our little links going here onto our front anti-roll bar, going onto the lower wishbones there. We've got some screws going in here holding the radiator in by the look of it. So it's telling us they've done a Tamiya style here with the actual size of the screw on the instructions. Front belt strapping here, so this is going to be your front spare wheel going, or not your front spare wheel, your spare wheel going in with all the strapping and the buckles and everything on there, which is a nice touch. We've got a turned aluminium valve, I believe, going in the spare wheel, so that's going to look very nice. Held in with a screw. I'm hoping we get some sort of centre cap to go over that, because that would be pretty rubbish if you don't, because they've gone to all the trouble of giving you a beautiful little aluminium turned valve and then leaving a bloody Phillips screw in the middle of the wheel. Duh. Don't get that. I think I need to have something put on it to hide it, because that doesn't look good at all. And we've got the steering wheel going on here. We've got our lovely Ford GT there going on. And then we've got the, I thought it was GT40, but it's not, it's Ford GT, so that's cool. And we've got that, the centre part going onto the steering wheel there. Steering wheel being fitted to the column. Got the covers for the fuel cells, which are in the sills here. And then we've got the, what's this here? Oh, this is your gear linkage. Gear linkage on the right-hand side. So the gear link, these cars were right-hand drive, and then the gear linkage was on the right, so that it was the same for the American drivers, because they were used to left-hand drive cars changing gear with their right hand. So they've done that, and they've got some pipe work going on there onto some knobs for something or other there. So that's all nice. But as you can see, like I was saying, whereas Tamiya may well give you a bracket to mount this on, and then the knobs would be separate parts that glue in, Meng seem to be going down this sort of mould everything in one route, and then use your painting skills to make it look better. And I think it's good in a way, because it makes the model less fiddly, so it's better for newcomers and they don't run away because it's all too complicated, so it gets more people into the hobby. However, I would rather go for the Model Factory Hero, where you got 7 million parts to make one assembly. But you know, we all know how I get bored with kits easily. Maybe something simple like this, that won't happen. We shall see. So we've got the switchgear going in the back of the instrument panel there, which is a nice touch. They're going to be all these knobs going in, and then you've got the separate panel there with all the dials, so you put your decals on there. That's going to go in from behind, and then you've got the actual instrument panel there going on. I was thinking there may be some clear faces to go on the instrument panel, but I can't see anything. I think the trumpeter's actually got clear faces for the instrument panel. We shall see. But I can't see anything. I maybe need something added on. We'll have a look at that. And then we've got the fuses there by the look of it going in. And then fitting the instrument panel into the floor. Again, held in with screws. And then we've got starting the engine assembly. So we've got the two halves of the block going together. Got our alternator going on there. This is going to be... Okay, this is fitting the cylinder heads to the block first. Do all this and then paint it all as one. And then you can fill the seams and everything. So the cylinder head's held on with screws rather than being glued, although you can put some glue around it as well. Inlet manifold. Sump. I'm not sure if this was dry sumped or not. I'll have to check my references, but if not, that's the sump. If it's dry sump, that's the scavenge plate. And then you've got the front cover going on there. You've got the rear cover there for the bell housing. Water pump pulleys. Got some hosing there, and it's telling us to paint that the braided steel colour, or the braided stainless steel colour, and then we've got the anodised red and blue fittings there. Distributor cap going in. Again, the actual trumpeter kit has no distributor. Duh. So possibly take a resin mould into that and make it for the trumpeter one. Starter motor going on there. That's going to be the coil. Throttle linkage going in. Carburetor. We've got a 4-barrel carb going down on there. Intake going on the top, another fuel line going in the side, water pipe on the front, rocker covers going on the sides, more hosing there, more hosing, more hosing, more hosing, and you've got all your leads going on here. So this is obviously going to be vinyl parts, I'm guessing, and they're showing you a diagram there with your green and your yellow parts there. Down in here we've got our exhaust manifold starting to go on, so that's going to be nice. And then we've got more and more of the pipe works. This is going to be the, I think they call them the snakes. And then we've got more vinyl piping here to be painted up and everything. And then we're going to actually fit the engine into the floor pan itself, or into the monocoque, should I say. Then going over the page here, we're going to put our transmission together. Oh, I need a breather. Put the transmission together, and then we're going to add on our boots around the ceiling boots, and then we're going to add our UJs in. Again, these wouldn't have had CV boots, these have had CV joints, they'd have had universal joints on the drive shafts. And then you've got oil hoses here for the oil cooling for the gearbox. And then more hoses there, more hoses there. And then we're going to fit we're lifting up our rear uprights and fitting the transmission in. And then we're going to put our uprights back down onto the drive shafts there, as you can see. So that's all a nice touch. Going on here, we got our air ducting going in. I think it's probably good. Yeah, it's telling us there to put the air ducting onto the actual air intake. And then we've got mother part of our monocoque there. That's a blue part, so that's something I have to paint at the same time as the rest of the floor. And we've got a rear anti-roll bar going in with its pivots. So this is all quite obvious on the real car when you actually see it in the flesh. And then here we've got our bundle of snakes, I think it's called. That's the exhaust there. Trumpeter kit has the proper springs and that holding the exhaust down. This just has it moulded in by the look of it. So again, you know, this would be nice if it was all made of photo etch and folded, but these are our basic luggage compartments. They had some silly rules in the 60s in Le Mans, like they had to be capable of carrying luggage, they had to have a passenger seat, they had to have a spare wheel, and I believe I did hear somewhere that every pit stop they had to get the spare wheel out, touch it on the ground, and then put it back in. Lots and lots of silly little rules which all got scrapped in the 70s apparently. Oil coolers going in here, some hosing to the oil coolers. There's probably one on each side, I think. And then, so easy to miss the pages. And then we've got some more hosing going in here. This is going to be, that's either going to be a swirl pot for the coolant, or it's going to be something for the fuel system. And then we've got the more bits and pieces going in here. I'd need to look closely. These are possibly fuel filters or part of the fuel system. I'd have to have a look. And then we've got the, this is the rear bulkhead going in. More hoses and everything, more pipe work. You can see it's all getting quite complex with all the pipe work going in there. On to making our seats. Now this is a really good idea. They've got these seats had rivets in them that allowed the seats could breathe, so that the drivers didn't get too sweaty. And with the trumpeter kit, they're all moulded on, you have to paint them. Whereas this, they've got these plates that go in behind, you paint them silver, and then when you put them through, you actually see the rivets coming through, or poppers, wherever they are. Making up the seat belts here with photo etch buckles and everything. We've got our seat belt material there. Fitting the seat belts here with the centre console going in between the two. And then we're going to mask our windows here, masking from the inside, I'm guessing, and spraying the framing. Got some parts here we're going to be painting. These are going to be aluminium parts. Fuel filler there. Fitting the windscreen, and then we're doing the same on the doors. We're going to paint the windows, fit all the interior door detail, fit the interior parts there, all going in beautifully. Exterior door handles, don't forget to paint all this before you fit all this. And then we've got these lights on the side here. Same on the other side. And looks like we've got a spring in there. We've actually got a sprung door latch by the look of it, so you can actually, the door will actually open and close itself on a latch. Wow, that's impressive. Interior mirror going in there, adding the doors in, they're just dropping onto some hinge points, and then again dropping the body down onto the monocoque, and then you've got screws coming up holding it all together. So it's nice that everything's screwed rather than glued, especially we've got these big parts that need a lot of leverage to get them in place. Fuel tank going in here with the that's not a fuel tank, that is, yes it is, it's a fuel tank. So you've got a fuel tank in the front, and you've also got a fuel tank down the sides, so you've got more pipes here going in. And then you've got the sills going on. I'm not sure what colour they would be. I'm guessing they'd be body coloured. They're called bottom parts. So getting off the camera here right as well, sorry guys. Headlight assembly, so you can have a chrome background, clear light footing there, spotlights and indicators. So they're going to be amber. And then they're fitting in with screws. And then we're adding our headlights here, the lenses, we've got to paint them. So it's telling us how to paint those on there with the provided masks, and then fitting all that in there. Fitting on the scoop, the cooling duct, so the air can come in straight up over the top of the car rather than have to come out around the sides. Hinges for that front bonnet, for the bonnet there. That's so nice. I'm surprised the bonnet opened that way. I'm surprised it didn't have it open forwards. Then we've got all the detail for the inner side of the engine cover. There's all rivet detail in there, which is missing, which is something I noticed from the video I watched the other day. And then we've got the rear screen going in there, little access panel there for something or other, and then the air scoops there that are pulling air in for the rear brakes. Then we've got on here, we've got the rear clamshell going on, we've got all the photo etch grills for the back, and then we've got the gurney flap going on the back here with all the little poppers fitting it, so they're little pins to make them like rivets, or whatever they were. They may have been Zeus fasteners, I don't know. And then we've got the wheels going on with our centre locks here. So all very nice indeed. And then, is that it? That's not it, is it? No, we're missing a page. There we go. Oh, that is it. So that is it. That is your model finished. Done. Just like that. It's over. So there we go. So again, we've got the turn valve stems, and we've got the screw going in, but this time we've got the centre lock. They just had these 3 locks, so they could just come in and hammer them, not like the big ones you've got today. And then we've got all our sprue call outs here. All our parts there, beautifully laid out. And then going on the back here, we've got all our metal parts here, the seat belt material, window masks and everything. And then we've got our colour call outs for the Chem Miles version, and then we've got the Bruce McLaren version there. There we are. And then we've got our colour call outs in the Meng AK paints. Personally, I won't be using them. I will never ever use them. There we go. So there we are. So that's the instructions. Let's have a quick look at the decals. I said I'm not going to get these out. But we can see here we've got all the Ken Miles decals here. We've got the red decals for the front. You may prefer to paint that. I probably would. And then you've got the number 2 decals here for the black car. And then going over the page, this has got the detailed decals. We've got all the tyre lining decals there. All our instrument panels and all our Goodyear tyre decals there. So all in all, a very nice little package. Very, very complete, nice package. So I'm going to take a breather and then we'll have a look at the parts. Okay, so we're back. Had a nice walk with Jeff the female dog. Right, so let's start having a look at these parts in this box. It's a nice big box, and I've got it over here out of the way. So I'm not going to take everything out of its bags if I don't need to, if I don't see any detail or anything. As we can see, we've got you can see by the size of my hand, it is a very big body. There's the lower tub there, so that's the sort of outer side of the monocoque. Okay, not the monocoque, well, it is kind of a monocoque sort of space frame thing. And then you've got the actual centre section there. And then this bit here, this is the inner floor, so this is where the seats go and everything. And you can see on there the detail, which is very, very nice indeed. So that's going to go on there like so. And then that's going to go on there like that. And then we've got the hood here, which is the flip-up hood. So basically you've got this kind of effect, so it'll look fantastic displayed with the, you know, open, showing all its bits and pieces. The one bit that is missing in the trumpeter kit, you don't get the spare wheels, so that's something I might see if I can take a mould off of this one to put in the other one. So there we go, so that's the body parts, and then you've got your doors here, which are very nice indeed. You've got the Meng 2020 moulded inside there. But they're all very nice and straight and everything. Sprue connections on the outer edges, so you have to be very careful cutting them and sanding all that nice and even and everything. But you can see, you know, very, very clean, very, very sharp detailing. I can see on the back here, you can see straight away, we've got some sink marks in the white plastic. If I can get the camera to show it through the plastic, you can probably just see them there. Going across here, there are some sink marks there. No, we can't show it because it's white plastic, but they are there. I doubt if you can even see them. I talk about the bag, but they definitely show up in the gloss paint. So be very careful of that. Go over the whole thing. I did actually see a guy building. Funny enough, that was a Ford GT, the Revell 24th kit, the horrible little kit. I saw a guy in Japan building one of those, and he sprayed the whole body shell black and then basically sanded it all off so it showed high and low spots. So that's a good little tip to take on. And then we've got this is the sort of bonnet part. This is going to go in there, and that's your air vents there. So you look down through there, you'll see the radiator, which is nice. And then we've got these air scoops on the back. They're going to fit on here. They're taking air in for the rear brakes. I think that's pretty much it for the body. Oh, here's the side sills. Got some nice pronounced rivet detail on them. And then there's another. Oh, this is the inner side. This is the inner rear end. So that's going to go in there like that. So that's your engine cover. You have your carburetor ducting sticking up through that hole in there. So all in all, quite a little package of body parts there. So that's all very nice. So we'll put over that all over there to one side. And then we've got the rest of the parts to look at. So here we've got the exhausts. You can see we've got many exhausts here. I did notice on the collectors here, they've got if you look on there, you can see the raised lumps. Be careful not to cut those off when you're building your model. They're actually there's a flange on the collector, a flange on the pipe, and then when they come together, they're actually bolted through. So make sure you don't cut them off. In fact, they could do with some thinning out to make them look a bit thinner, to make them look more in scale actually. And then come along here, this is basically a grey sprue. You got your those bins are very nice. They are very thin. If you look on there next to my hand, you can see they are moulded very thin indeed, so they don't look out of place whatsoever. We've got all our wishbones here, which are very nicely done. We've got the front towing eyes there. We've got all our shock absorbers here. Fuses for the dashboard, and then we've got got some detail parts here. These are the air ducts for the front brakes. More wishbone parts there, and that's part of you can see there in detail where my finger is. You can see that's part of the throttle return with the spring molded on detail and everything. But and here we got great big connector with the with the parts that you're going to paint in your. Best to paint them in bright silver and then go over with a clear blue and a clear red to show the anodized aluminium. So there we go. Never understood on GC40s, they always seem to have this pedal here. If someone can tell me what that is, I'd be grateful to know, because it's attached to the clutch pedal. What is it? I'd love to know what it is. I mean, it could be some sort of footrest, and it shouldn't be attached to the clutch pedal at all, but both the kits seem to have it. Here we've got our engine sprue. So here we've got some lovely detail on the engines. There's no casting detail or anything, but you've got the core plugs there. I'm not quite sure if this is a 289, a 302, or a 457, I don't know, or 427, sorry. But it looks like it's probably a big block. But then, no, they used a small block in 66, didn't they? So this is going to be a 289. You can see there the inlet manifold detail is lovely, much nicer than the trumpeter kit. And you've got the engine block, and the head detail is gorgeous compared to the trumpeter kit. So it could be worth building this up, taking a mould off it to use for the trumpeter kit, because the trumpeter engine is very simple indeed. You've got your 4-barrel carb there, which looks a little basic, to be honest. But I guess painted nicely with a wash down in there, it's going to look great. And you've got the front cover there, and the engine sump. As I say, I don't know if this was dry sumped or not. Looking at the size of that sump, it looks like it's probably not. And here's another grey sprue here. We've got all our transaxle parts here, and then we've got our brake calipers, front and rear. Be careful not to get those mixed up. If you've watched the other bid, you'll know what I mean. And you've got the rear cover for the transaxle there. We've got our rear uprights, front uprights. So I'm guessing this is probably, yeah, it's ABS. There we go. Look, that's what I was looking at on the back here. Something Tamiya and Meng do. They've molded this. You can see it's ABS. So these parts, when they've got to be glued together, you have to use some super hot glue. I recommend either your Tamiya extra thin quick drying, or this one here. This one here is pretty good. And the trouble is, has it? No, it hasn't. The trouble is, it always seems to evaporate. But this EMA plastic weld is pretty good. I know Tamiya do their own ABS glue, which I might actually get for doing this, actually, because it's Tamiya, it's going to be good. But I know the extra thin quick setting is pretty good with ABS as well. But you know, if you're going to be gluing these parts, a lot of it looks like it screws together. and the gearbox halves are probably pushed together, but it's nice to not have a seam in the middle, isn't it? So there we are. So that's the gearbox parts, and then here we've got, this is a softy bendy one. This is going to be a load of hoses. Something that will be worth seeing on here is how big the seam lines are, and something I have tried in the past unsuccessfully, well, pretty unsuccessfully. If you put it in the freezer for a few hours, let it get hard, and then you can remove the seam lines easier if you have got them on there, but these don't look too bad actually. So that's good, but you can see they've all got the lovely Goodrich hose fittings on the ends, so they're all going to look nice. It's a shame they've got no braided detail on them, but they're going to be, you know, they're going to look great with a nice coat of bright silver on them, although the paint's probably all going to flake off. I don't know how the Tamiya lacquer paint will stick. We'll have to have a look at that. We'll try it on the Sprue and see how well it sticks to it. But we'll give all this a wash before we do any painting anyway. We've got our clear parts here, which I'm not going to get out because I don't want to scratch them, obviously. But very nice indeed. So we've got the side doors there with the little opening window in the side moulded in there. And as you can see, it's all got this wrap around it to protect it and stop it getting scratched, which is good. So that's a nice touch in there. We've got some chrome parts. It looks like a fairly darkish chrome. And we've got here, we've got our rocker covers here, which apparently are different than any other Ford engine. I don't know. So we've got the mirrors there. We've got our centre knockoffs across here. Instrument panel there, so you can have a nice chrome rim around that. So it looks like we haven't got the glazing, so probably what we'll need to do is put the decal on, let it go off, and then we'll put some nice clear on there and let it sort of, nothing too heavy, nothing too strongly lacquer based because it may wrinkle the decal up. But, you know, get something nice on there. But it's nice to see they've gone to the trouble there, so you get the nice chrome rim around. And then you've got this here, these are the switches, and it's very cleverly designed. Those switches actually, if you can see them there, they come through the instrument panel, so that you can actually see. So you've got the matte black instrument panel with those bright chrome switches coming through, and they're all the toggle switches that go across. We've got headlights there, reflectors in the back. We need to add a bulb in there. There's no bulb detail. Rear view mirror there. Fuel filler. We've got some chrome rings there. Not exactly sure. They're probably for the tail lights. And then we've got some here with 4 bits with holes in. I'm not exactly sure what they are. So that'll soon become clear. Door handles or latches or something there. We've got the lights here for the side of the doors. But very nicely done actually. It looks like very, very nice chrome. Not at all overly thick or anything. I think the Trumpeter one needs the chrome all stripping. But this one here, this is a big old black sprue of body parts. So this has got some air ducting there. We've got the inside of the doors in there, as you can see. This is the rear spine where all the suspension goes on. Steering wheel, drive shafts here with the UJs on the ends. There's our steering rack there. We've got our tie rods there. Windscreen wiper, coil, and a horn, horn for the horn, and the outside of the steering rack there with the rubber gauges on the end. So it's all beautifully moulded and very, very crisp. We will get a sprue out in a minute, have a good look. This one here, this is our rear bulkhead. Let's get this one out and have a look, because we've got our instrument panel here and we'll see how good that looks. I've got a feeling this is all going to be lovely. I hate these bloody staples. Ugh. Always worry they're going to fall on the floor and Jess will get one in her paw. So normally I would pull them all out properly, but time and all that. So yeah, very, very nice indeed. Very cleanly moulded, but it does feel bloody oily. God blimey. That is positively, it's almost like greasy. That is the most oily I've ever known a sprue. Can't smell anything on it, but yeah, very, very cleanly moulded, no flash. Tiny seam lines, but nothing much at all. But here we've got this I think is the front end, the you know, the sort of shutting for the frunk, if you like. The pulley detail on there, shame you're not going to see it because it's on the front of the engine. That is gorgeous, really, really nice indeed. We've got our headlamp bulbs there, and they include the side light or fog light and indicator bulbs in there. Got Got our fans there for the radiator. As I said before, I think they look a little small. The detail, the moulding on that instrument panel is some of the sharpest I've ever seen. If you look at the edges of those holes, they are very, very sharp indeed. You've got the upper side of the instrument panel with the vents there. You can really feel the grease on there. Maybe it's not, but it just feels greasy. It all needs a good wash, I can tell you that. I wouldn't dare try and paint any of this. But yeah, very nice indeed. And then here we've got another sprue here. This is worth getting out to have a look because I want to talk about those. Let's get these bloody staples out properly. Right, that took forever. They were like, it was like double rolled over. They were folded in there. But yeah, this sprue here, again, very, very nice indeed. I wanted to have a look at these. Now, this is something I don't understand. Again, this feels quite oily. These are here. These are what goes through. You can see the seats have these holes moulded in. They're soft vinyl. And then these panels here go into the back. So you can see you've got the holes in the seats there. Okay. And then you can see these panels here with the rivet detail on, or the popper detail, whatever you want to call it, eyelets. They will go in behind. So I wish they'd chrome these, and because they would look so much better. And then what we do is we'll give them a wash, and it'll pick up in the centres there, in the centre of those holes. There's like a hollow. So basically you'll have a nice bright, I'll probably use that sparkling silver from Tamiya, and nice bright hard wearing finish on there, and then get a black wash into each one and just let it sit there and perhaps wipe it off, and then they'll look very, very nice then. So through the seats. Here's the disc brakes. This is what I was saying. This is why I wanted to get this one out. Look at the state of the finish on those discs. You can imagine if you took your car in for an MOT with discs scored up like that, you know, they really need to be sanded flat, because there's just no way the discs should look like that. They're awful. Unless they've done like a 500 miles with disc pads that are completely worn down to metal. So there's the water pump. Looks like probably the starter motor, is it? Got some oil coolers here. All linkages for the rear end. Is this ABS? Yeah, this is ABS again. So centre tunnel there by the look of it. As I said, the more oil cooler bits there. It's a fuel tank for the front end down there by the look of things. You can see the moulding detail is very crisp and very nice. We've got the vanes there for the disc brakes. There's no grooved... See, the side that you see has got all the grooves in it, but on the back side that you don't see, there's no marking at all. And that is more like what it should be like. But we got some ejector pin marks to deal with, so we'll get rid of those. But tempted even to just sand these flat and stick them on backwards, because this, I mean, that grooving detail, you can see how deep it is. It's bloody ridiculous on a 12 scale kit. But there we go. But the, you know, lovely anti-roll bar there, and because it's all ABS, it's all going to be very, very tough and hard wearing if you want to play with your model. We've got these seats here. We've got all these ignition leads here in the flexible vinyl. Got the boots there on the end of the drive shafts. That's the cooling vents for the rear brakes, I think. These are the cooling vents for the front brakes. But they're probably not flexible enough, they don't normally, but we could perhaps put a spring or something inside there, and that'll keep the shape nice and everything. So that's very nice there. And then we got the last bag over here. We've got some bits and pieces, not sure exactly what that is. That's the bulge to go in the top of the door for the taller drivers amongst you. And then we've got some grab handles here for the inside of the doors. Those are those filter things. I'm not sure if they're fuel filters or what they are. They're actually they're probably fuel pumps. That's what they probably are, is fuel pumps. And there's the handle and everything for the fire extinguisher. So there we go. That's very, very nice indeed. Very lovely. My fingers are still sticky from that sprue. And then we've got clear sprue. That's our little rear window in there, you can see. Doesn't have any protective sticker on it, I don't think. Got the carburetor intake bowl there, which is clear. I'm not sure why it was clear, but it is. Headlight lenses there, side light lenses, and then we've got our indicators and rear lights there, which are very nice indeed. Very, very lovely. And then here, final sprue, we got our wheels, and it's nice to see. So what Meng have done is they got the sprue connector points coming off the middles of the wheels, so they're not, you haven't got to be careful on the rims or anything. But they are beautiful. I think they're Halley brands, aren't they, those? But they're very nice indeed. You can see you've got the two front wheels there, which are quite slim, and then you've got the rear wheels there, which are quite fat, and then you've got the one in the centre there, which is the spare. So apparently the spare was never used. It wasn't intended to be used. It was just there because the regs said you had to have a spare wheel. So there we go. We've got tyres over here. I'm reaching as far as I can. We've got tyres over here. I'm just looking at the tyres. Let's get this open and have a look. Okay, so here we go. So the tyres, unfortunately, they have no lettering on them whatsoever. Now, I don't know if they would have done. I think they probably would, but they've got no lettering on them whatsoever. So that's a shame. And it's the same for the rears. Now, if you look at these, hopefully there'll be some GT40 aficionados in the watching this, and you can comment below. I'm sure Andrew from Ratchet. Don't forget, go and have a look at Andrew. Channel's called Ratchet, rebuilding a GT40 replica and making a superb job of it. Yeah, if you want to see somebody really get stuck into their car and really go the whole hog and make it better, then go and see that. It's not just bolting a kit car together, I can assure you. But these, they have no lettering on them, and the tread is very faint. You can see there's hardly any tread in them whatsoever. But the thing that gets me is the fact that they are quite rounded, and they look very much like modern day radial tyres. Now, I'm not sure what's right and what's wrong, but if you look at the Trumpeter tyres, they're a lot squarer on the edge, which is more like how I remember cross plies being, or I think they call them bias tread in America. So I'm wondering which ones are right. Maybe they're both wrong. Maybe these are too rounded and the Trumpeter ones are too square, but I just don't think they're right. You can see how bloody huge they are in my hand. But they're quite hard, and I'm sort of a little bit annoyed about that. They're so bulbous. They've got that very round profile across there. That it's the same on the front ones. The spare is very nice indeed. In fact, of all the tyres, the spare has got the nicest tread. So yeah, maybe they had a very shallow tread so that they could cheat and sort of, you know, once they'd done a few laps, that wore away and they had slicks. But I don't know. If you know, please let me know in the comments. So I'd be interested to know, because I know the Trumpeter tyres don't quite look right, but I don't think they look quite right either. Right then, what else have we got in here? We have got a sheet of photo etch, which has got a green vinyl film on it. So that's our buckles there for the spare wheel, buckles for the harness there, front radiator, and there's our rear vent. So for a 12 scale kit, that's a pretty small bit of photo etch. There we go. Seatbelt material. It's got a lovely woven finish to it. I don't know if you're going to see it in there. But it's got a very sort of carbon fibre sort of woven look to it. So that's going to look very nice and authentic, as long as it all lays properly and just all sitting springing up. And then finally, this is right at the end of the box, we've got here a Ziploc bag, so you can have a look. We have got bits and pieces. We have got some metal shafts and a poly cap, some long screws in there. That's your steering column there. You can see you've got the square ends on it, so it doesn't all slip around and everything. Very nicely done indeed. We've got some vinyl tubing there. We've got our road springs there, suspension springs, so they're very nice indeed, painted black, so that's a nice touch. We have some screws in here, so we can mark these bags up to what they are. So we've got basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different lots of screws, plus the long ones we got in the other bag. But there we got 5 lots of screws in there, so plenty of screws to be going on with, because we like lots of screws, don't we? And then we got this vinyl hosing, which unfortunately is the type that just kinks if you try and bend it, so maybe replace this. The other thing to do with this is put some wire inside. Although this is quite large, it's also very glossy. Probably replace this with something else. But as long as you don't try and go it too tight, you'll be okay. But if you try and go too tight, you can see there it just kinks and it looks bloody awful. But but you could put some plastic rod down in there, some brass wire, you know, whatever, some lead or anything, and then it'll hold its roundness and it'll also hold its shape. So if you wanted to sort of go like that sort of thing, then, but you can see there, even with that bend there, it's kinking in the middle, so that's unfortunate. And then you got the smaller stuff here. That may as well come off because we don't need it. And that again, oh, that's not so bad, that doesn't kink so readily. But I think this, you know, should really be all braided hose, which the trumpeter kit actually has in it. And then we've got this one here, which again will kink. But we can look into what we're going to do with all that when we come to build it. And then we've got a screwdriver here, which is nice and big and strong for getting the big ones in, but probably no good at all for these tiny ones. For these tiny ones, you want a Tamiya screwdriver, which is like this one here. There we go. And I think it's also, yeah, it's magnetic as well. So these little Tamiya screwdrivers, if you've ever built a Tamiya kit and you've got one of these in, like one of the bike kits or whatever, the bigger ones, keep hold of the screwdriver, they're brilliant. So there we go. So that is basically that. So that has been a review of the Meng 1/12 scale Ford GT40 Mark II 1966 Le Mans winner with Ken Miles at the wheel. And some of you will say, hang on, he wasn't the winner, but my opinion, he was. So anyway, I think a lot of people's opinion he was. But anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go take a look. You'll see all the information, what it's all about. So thanks for watching that. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's a beautiful model and I can't wait to build it because it's a beautiful big model that looks like it goes together really, really well and sort of simply, so you're not going to end up getting all sort of tied down and bogged down with detail. I have been working lately on a Stratos, a Lancia Stratos that I started. I don't remember starting it. I know it's all brush painted with enamel paints, so it's got to be 20 years ago that I started it. Probably moved house or something, put it back in its box, and I've just found it again. But yes, the big Diosha one, and the bodywork is awful. It is terrible. So I do lots and lots of work to try and get that all straightened out. I want to use it as a kind of test bed for stuff like this, for doing car bodies, because I haven't done car bodies for years, and I want to use it as a test bed for my primers and everything, and using the sanders and then polishing back and everything, and then clear coats. So that's why I'm playing with that one. But anyway, I'll see you all soon. Thanks for looking in. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I say, don't forget to go and have a look at, if you're into GT40s, go and take a look at Built, I think it's called Built by Dan or something like that. Go and have a look at that one. That's a GT40 kit car in Australia. It's grey and it's basically a brand new kit being bolted together. And the other one, as I say, is Ratchet. Andrew, he's an English guy doing a fantastic job rebuilding his GT40 that he's bought as a kit car, and it's amazing. It's really, really good. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, hit the like, and I'll see you all soon. And don't forget to comment. Tell me what you think of this model. Tell me if you've got one, if you've built one, if you have any issues with it, what you think of it overall. Is it better than the Trumpeter, or is the Trumpeter one the better one? Or are they sort of 50-50 because there's good and bad in both? Let me know what you think. Bye for now.